everybody. I am going to talk about the last part of the comic book, and then we're going to read the Gabriel Union book next, and it's going to be a really good book. I started reading it already. So I was just going to start off with the section 3. Let me find it. That's section 4. Okay. There we go. Oh, that's part 2. Sorry. Bear with me. There we go. So this is Common, and this is Let Love Have the Last Word. And I'm just finishing up this book. And then we're going to meet again on October 2nd. And they'll be Wednesday nights late or Thursday mornings. I'll be posting them from now on, and because we're going to have a new member, and that's when her availability is. So of course we want to work around that. And it's going to be great. Our first book will be Gabriel Union in 2 weeks. This book is wonderful. It's very sweet. It tells about, her story growing up, her family, and then some things that happened to her, which I don't want to give away because, it's all part of telling you about the book. So part 3. So the first part, he had that conversation with his daughter, and then the second part was a little bit more about his dad. The whole time it's just kind of like talking about what he's doing on a day, but then these conversations that he's having and how he's reflecting on them, and maybe some things that he went through. And then now we're on the third part, and this is the part where he's kind of talking a little bit about like relationships and how it is that he maybe doesn't have a wife, or he does have a significant other, but he hasn't taken it to that level. And then it talks a little bit about how he likes his space and how he likes his freedom, and how he does enjoy being in love with someone, but realizes that that's such a responsibility, and then sometimes he avoids that. And then it talks a little bit about how he has a counselor, and he talks to that person, about his relationships with people. And you really got to read it. It's kind of interesting because he kind of opens up the idea that it's good for men to have counselors. It's great for a man to have someone to talk to, not just women. We all need help in our daily lives. I'm not saying he needs any more or less, but I think he's just also stating in the book like how healthy it is to have I guess he's a real psychiatrist that he talks to, to have the opportunity to participate in that. So I'm going to read some of these quotes because I love his quotes that he picked for the chapters. So, and that's kind of like the first book. And then he talks a lot about his mom too, in this chapter, and how she's really the first person that taught him how to love. But read the book, because I can't even break it down like how he breaks it down for you to get the real feeling of that memoir feeling. So I'll just read these little things, and then I'll go on to chapter 4, and I'll give you like the big outline. But definitely read it, especially if you love Common. It's a really nice book, and it encourages people, to seek counseling if that's what they need, or to go to a psychiatrist if that's what you need, and that it's okay to talk about abuse, and it's okay to talk about how you're having a hard time loving someone, so you can figure out what it is that's going on in your life that you could fix, so that you could be a better partner to somebody or a family member. So the first one is, I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Dr. Martin Luther King. And then Socrates. An unexamined life is not worth living. Because he's like reflecting and thinking about himself and how he could be a better person. And I had this dog tail, so let me see. I don't know. I'm not going to get too... I gave you a pretty good narrative of chapter 3, so I won't keep building on that. Because I don't want to give the book away either. You gotta read the book. The book's great. So this is gonna be a pretty quick review because I heard my husband rolling up, so he's gonna be here in a minute too. And then chapter 4 is kind of where he talks about an event that happened to him as a young child where he was molested, or where he was touched in a way he didn't want to be touched. Now, he forced himself to forget about that event, and then it came back to him later on in life, and that's kind of what this chapter is about. But then what I like about the book is like it starts off with his daughter, and then he ends it with his daughter too. So that's good. So I'll just read you some of these quotes here. It says, "Love is a friendship set to music," by Joseph Campbell. Hey, honey. And I can go more into, I don't really want to go more into the part where he talks about his abuse, because you should really read it. But I will mention that he doesn't see himself like as a victim. He sees himself like as a survivor. So, you know, go ahead and read that if you want to. I think it's great. And at the end, you know, his daughter like listens to the new record that he had produced, and on there he wrote some lyrics about their conversation, and she just calls him and tells him that she thinks that he's a good dad, and that, you know, she doesn't have any hard feelings towards him. And so that's the closure of how you started the book. And the memoir, I think I've never really read a memoir before, so I thought it was kind of interesting to read like a section in somebody's life and how they reflect on other parts of their life in that section, and how they also kind of discuss like their mission or vision in life, or what they stand for, which is what he does. You know, at the end here, it also has like a music list and some pictures of some of the work that he does. And inside there's also like a story of like when he visits these jails and does these concerts, and how he has conversations with people there, and people share their experiences. It's real interesting. Like, you should definitely read that part. You know, I thought the book was pretty good, and it gave you a little bit of idea of who Common is without like outing a whole bunch of other celebrities and putting other people's business out there. I like how classy he was about that. So I definitely recommend that you would read the book by Common, Let Love Have the Last Word. And I thought it was really interesting. We're going to read another book by him. And then our very next book is going to be Gabrielle Union, We're Going to Need More Wine. And then we'll have our new guest on. And I will see you guys on October 2nd, that Wednesday evening or Thursday morning. Thanks. Bye.